We have Bruce live in the locker room in Tallahassee celebrating on the field with the Florida State. And I don't know why, but like we were able to run the ball so well in the first half, especially to the left side, and then all of a sudden we started to abandon it. And like I said, there is some inconsistency.
How are they going to approach this game? How are they going to beat this Florida State team?
Well, we're going to break you guys.
Okay, that's it. The show's over.
In the story, we're going to break you guys. Look, and I'm joking, but it's true.
Lord, the climb continues, KB. Oh my God!
I am sweating.
Look at my heart. Look.
You know what? Yeah, I have so much to say. All right, we are back. Welcome to SeminolesSideline 3C5. It is great to see you all. Jalen, what is up, sir? You are early to the party. It's great to see you and great to see you all. We're back with our preview show for Boston College, and barring any surprise, well, I guess it's not surprise weather, but barring any weather, we should have this game on Saturday. I expect it to happen. I know there's going to be shows that explain to you 4 reasons why it may not happen, but we expect it to happen. And we're going to discuss it tonight. Once again, with me, as always, is the old man doing something bizarre as always.
Pat McAfee, baby. That's what I do. I'm getting jacked. Look at it. Yeah, I get jacked.
If the old man,
this don't come easy, brother. This don't come easy, brother.
If you ever come to the show with a sleeveless T-shirt on, I will retire from this show.
45-pound weights, buddy. Look at this.
Look at
the reps.
I don't know if there's a 5 at the end of that 4.
Hey, there's a thing in your neighborhood called a gym. Get to it.
All right. Well, like I said, we're going to be talking about the BC game, and let us know. We want to hear from you guys. So if you're watching this live or recorded, let us know below who you guys expect to win that matchup. Give us your score predictions for Saturday at noon on ABC. I'm just excited. I know we hate noon games, but against a team like BC, glad it's at noon and gets it out of the way, and then you guys can watch the primetime games. I know there's really not a great matchups on Saturday, but Saturday was rough. I mean, that game going for 4 hours from 8:30 to 12:30, I'm still not over that. I'm still catching up on sleep from that game. So, we'll go into it. So,
hey, as a football coach, I love that.
Why do you love you?
Yeah, I get so many extra timeouts. No, I get so many extra timeouts, and some of those timeouts are like 4 minutes long. It's great.
That was awful to watch. I love watching Florida State, but for 4 hours when it's just a lot of dead air, and especially with those announcers were atrocious. But that's another story. So let's talk about BC. So right now, going into Saturday in Chestnut Hill, Florida State has a 96.7% chance matchup predictor of winning this game according to ESPN. And I think the result last year was like 44-13 at home for Florida State. It wasn't even close. With bad weather, without bad weather, BC this year has been horrible against the run game, which Florida State started to get going last week with 300 yards rushing across 5 different running backs. You started to see Trey Benson come on a little bit. You started to see Hill come on. Keziah had a big touchdown for 40 yards. So you saw them go deep in the running back room, establish that run, especially in the second half. I will expect that to be the main focal point of the offense. Now, early in this game, I do believe that they will try to get Johnny Wilson going early to try to get him in. All the media reports have said Johnny Wilson's had a good week of practice. He was a little bit banged up in that game last week, which is maybe why he came out earlier. He had lower snap counts than, say, Keon Coleman. I think Keon Coleman had double the snap counts that Johnny Wilson did last week. And some of that may have been to the injury. Some of it may be because he dropped 4 or 5 balls. I'm not going to guess on that. But so far, it sounds like he's had a great week of practice. Frankly, I don't give a crap about practice. It's about what you do in the game. There's great practice players who do nothing in games. There's horrible practice players who do awesome stuff in games.
We're just talking about practice.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember Allen Iverson? He missed like a couple practice. This guy was a superstar in the league for the Sixers at the time. And the media was going, well, you weren't at practice. He goes, we're just talking about practice.
And that's how I feel about all these media reports about FSU practice. This guy popped off, whatever. I just care about how they perform in the game. And Jalen, to your point, you got to beat these sneaky ACC teams. And, you can't overlook and start looking forward to Clemson. And that's got to be the mindset. They got to focus in, not start off slow like they did last week, or slow in relative, 14 points in the first quarter. I want them to look sharp because I think this is a dress rehearsal going into Clemson. We want to be sharp in this game, even if you take guys out in the third quarter. So I want them to look sharp because you have to go to Death Valley, luckily at noon. But you want to look sharp in this game because we did not look the offense passing-wise did not look sharp last week, in my opinion. So I expect them to early try to get Johnny Wilson involved, try to get the passing game going, and then lean late into the running game because that is where BC is struggling this year. And they have not played a Power 5 team yet. They've played Holy Cross, who they beat, and they've played Northern Illinois, who they lost to, I believe, in overtime last week. So they are struggling. They can't have that.
No, they beat Holy Cross last week. They lost to Northern Illinois the first game.
Yeah, totally. You're correct there. So as you can see here. So, and they barely beat Holy Cross. So, what are your initial thoughts? Mark?
Okay, my initial thoughts are first, this is Boston College Red Bandana Day, okay? And a lot of people may not know a lot about the significance of that day, and I don't have all the expertise in the world, but I suggest people look that up on the internet. Now, the Red Bandana Day honors a former Boston College alum and lacrosse player, and his name was Wells Crowther, okay? And Wells died in 9/11 on the attacks in New York City, okay? He was 24 years old. He was a stocks equity trader in New York City, and he was in and around. I don't know if he worked in the building. I think he did work in the building. He worked in the towers, in the Twin Tower, one of the Twin Towers, okay, for sure. He was also a volunteer fireman.
Yeah.
But when he was a child, his dad gave him a red bandana to wear. And he wore that at most of the athletic events through high school into college. He always had that red bandana with him.
Yeah.
He is a 9/11 hero because of his selfless actions. And those actions were when the attacks occurred and people were trying to get out of the building. This young 24-year-old Wells Crowther, he discovered a stairway and led 18 people out of that building. Okay? Now, that's bigger than football. It's bigger than sport. It's bigger than most of what people will do in their lives. And then after leading those people out safely into the streets, getting them away from the building, he went back in to help other people find that path out. But unfortunately, the buildings collapsed and Wells was killed along with firefighters in that certain area of the building that collapsed on them. This honor has been going on since 2014, and hats off to Boston College for doing this every year. And we also want to salute Wells, we want to salute Boston College, and we want to pay our greatest respects to this man, his family, and to Red Bandana Day. Win or lose, it's bigger than that, okay? And I think it's important that we say that, and I encourage all our fans, if you don't know anything about it, get online, read the story. In fact, there's a movie and a documentary
right here.
about the man in the red bandana. So I think that's the more important thing to anything we will say tonight. Weather. You asked my opinions. Weather could be the greatest asset to this Boston College team. The weather could be a card that could help them because they, and I don't say this with any disrespect, I say it from observation, I say it from statistics, I say it from full analysis that I've done. Boston College is a struggling football team. They have lost their way. Now, their coach, Jeff Hafley, he started there in 2020.
Oh my God.
Okay? He started there in 2020. Hang on there, KB. Hang on.
You're giving like the whole life story of
Hold
Boston
it.
College.
Hold it.
College
He
football.
started in 2020. I'm telling you why. I'm giving evidence for my evaluation. He started in 2020. Okay? He was 6-5. 21, he was 6-6. 22, he's 3-9. 3-9. And then this year he's 1-1. His program is declining. It's not getting better. And this is a man with a lot of NFL experience and so on and so on and so on. That's why Florida State, unless they can't handle the weather, which is going to be rainy and windy, if they give up the football, turn the football over, no excuses, no explanations, they could make this game closer than it needs to be.
Yeah, I think. No, I disagree with you. And thank you for the history.
Well,
of,
tell me
Boston
why
College
you
football
disagree.
And their coach and where he comes from. And,
Well, you got to know this to understand what the opponent is.
well, we know what they are. They're a below average football team.
Well below average.
Yeah,
football
well
team.
below average. I think that if it rains, it doesn't affect Florida State at all because it's gonna then it turns
Well,
into
of
a running
course
game.
it does.
It turns
I
into
know,
a running game.
but the
And Boston
water
College is
on
not-
the football, it can create easier to create turnovers on
Turnovers are
either
all
team.
luck. Exactly. So it washes out. Turnovers are essentially luck. And especially in that, it's a luck, and it can either happen for either team. If it gets forced into a running game,
I don't know
Florida State's
about
going to
luck.
run
It can
over
be
them.
forced.
If-
I don't
Florida
disagree
State
with
will
you.
run over them.
I
If
don't
it's forced
disagree
into a
with you.
running back room, Florida State's deeper than them, has a better line than them, and will run over them.
Did I say that Boston College was going to win? Let me
No,
look
but
back.
I don't think the weather's going to affect the outcome. I don't think the weather affects the outcome at all. In that, if both teams are Florida State has the major advantage because that takes the passing game away from Boston College. So I think if anything, it helps Florida State.
Boston College has no passing game, anyways.
Exactly.
They
So
are
their
their quarterback passing efficiency is ranked number 73.
You're making my point.
Number 73. The quarterback efficiency 136 compared to Jordan Travis and FSU. They're ranked 32nd with 165. So Boston College has no passing game, really.
Yeah, so let's look at the box score from Holy Cross last week. They threw for 201 yards against Holy Cross. I don't even know if they're FBS or not. No, I assume they are, but and 200 yards, and they barely won that game. The Holy Cross ran for 264 on them. If this, like you said, turns into a running game, Florida State will run all over. Florida State should run for 400 yards on this team.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. I don't just. What I'm saying is, if when the guy gets hit, he coughs up the ball, which is easier to do with a wet football, there will be turnovers in this game. I predict Florida State will have at least 2 turnovers if the weather is rainy and windy as predicted. At least 2 turnovers.
Florida State would have to turn over their ball 5 times to lose this game.
I'm just saying.
Under those circumstances.
I'm just saying. Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just-
If you're a listener out there, tell us how many times you think Florida State's going to turn the ball over. Over or under 2? Now, back to what you were saying, and I agreed with you. On rushing Offense. Florida State is ranked number 22 in the country with 220.5, 6.21 per carry, which I like. And I don't believe this running game has really been that good in the first 2 games. I've been disappointed with the offensive line, KB. I don't think at this point I could call them any better than average plus. Average plus. All right, despite all the hugs and kisses. Boston College rush game, number 54. They're averaging 174.5, but they've basically played nobody. 4.7 per carry.
My
point is in agreement with you that
as always,
no, that's not true. If we reduce our passing, which in a wet game you would, and given your statistic that you just showed against Holy Cross, Holy Cross ran the ball on them. We should have 250 to 300 yards rushing the football. Okay, our offensive line, this is their chance to step up and shine and open the holes so we don't have to throw the football that much.
B. Riley, I didn't know Rudy played at Holy Cross before Notre Dame, so that's the fun fact of the day. That's very interesting. I didn't know that. And Trash Talk TV, do we think the game will even be played? I don't see any reason why.
The game is going to be played.
This is the weather. It's going to be played. You're going to watch 12 videos this week that will explain to you all the scenarios
why
it
not
won't be played.
Right.
But one, it 95% will be played, and 2, Florida State needs to play this game either this weekend or on some weekend, because the tiebreaker for the ACC is winning percentage. And if they lose a game, that's going to affect that winning percentage, right? So they need to play every game on their schedule. So whether it gets played this weekend or in their bye week, it will be played. But I think it will 95% be played this weekend.
Listen, the only way this game doesn't get played is if that hurricane turns directly into the New England area. Florida State will be up there. The equipment trucks have already gone forward. They've gone forward. Advanced personnel have gone in. Florida State is scheduled to fly out, I believe, Friday morning. Then they'll do a walkthrough if the conditions are good enough to walk the field like they normally would. If not, they'll have a large conference room and they're going to finalize on. This game is going to be played unless that happens. The weather looks pretty good. Friday, it is going to be some rain, steady overnight into Saturday. 66 degrees it looks like on Saturday with wind up to 22-mile-an-hour gusts.
Where's your green screen with the clouds and the
64% chance of rain. I don't like your sarcasm, sir.
Well, I mean,
64% chance of. I have my notes. Do you think I walk into these things like I'm dead? Now,
cloudy with a chance of
so that's where we're going to be. If you're going to the game, take your rain gear, take your rain pants, take your slicker, take a hat. No umbrellas in the stadium.
Yeah, so I think that's some comments in here. Move it to Charlotte, North Carolina. I think it's too late to move it if they were.
No, it's done. We're not moving anywhere.
I'm just going through the comments and potential things. I think it's too late to potentially move it. B. Riley also says somebody mentioned Syracuse is on the road, dome available. I still think it's too late to move it. What could happen if the disaster 1% scenario goes, that they move the game to September 30th, Florida State's bye week. And someone mentioned this on Twitter. They moved Florida State's game to 9:30, 2 weeks from now, during Florida State's bye. And then BC moves their UVA game to the weekend of, I believe it's 10/14, October 14th, when both teams have a bye. So that would work for both teams to get it out of the way. So that I think that may be one of the backup dates. If all goes to hell, then they move it. Because I think if they haven't moved it now to a neutral site, I think it's too late to move it in my mind. Tickets,
yes.
Well, they may not even care about tickets, but I think it's just too much hassle to move it at this point. If they were to move it, so I believe if they haven't moved it by now, they believe there's a very good chance of this kicking off, and that's why they haven't moved it. So,
well, they could move it to Texas A&M because my understanding is they don't have a football team anymore.
wow,
That's a joke.
That's
That's a little bit of a joke. Okay, A&M, settle down.
That's that's that. How is it? How is it, old man? How's the?
You saw me.
Apparently,
B. Riley didn't see me pumping the iron. He got in late.
Yeah, if you missed it, the old man's going to start wearing sleeveless T-shirts like Pat McAfee on shows. So don't miss the gun show after the BC game on Saturday.
You think these show up by accident? I don't think so.
If you've never seen a living mummy, you have now.
Yeah.
See those arms on them.
I'll tell you, Saturday morning I'll be playing ball. We'll see where that ball goes.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it when the outfielders move in. They move in because they think, it's just a stick. Yeah. Come on in, fellas. Come on in.
Playing 11 straight weeks would be worse than canceling it. Yeah, I guess that would be true. If they were to move it to 9:30.
Why don't they? If they cancel it, just give us the W. We know that the 96th percentile. I'm just saying.
But B. Riley, I think the whole thing with a tiebreaker is, if we went out, it doesn't matter. But if you were to go by winning percentage, with that one game, if you lose that one game, and with the averages and stuff like that, the math, could help.
Yeah, it's going to get played. Some point, it's going to get played.
Let's just hope the storm passes by. I agree.
Or have minimum impact is probably the word.
Yeah, this game's
that decision will be made probably late Thursday night. They'll have a better track, and then that decision will be made by Boston College, Florida State, and ACC.
All right. Going back to the matchup,
Enough.
Who do you want to see stand out in this game?
First of all,
pick two players.
Well, it would be nice to see our 1 and 2 receivers, that being Wilson and Coleman, at least get 3 catches apiece, 3 to 4 catches apiece. I'd like to see them also get Jaheim Bell going a little bit. I'd like to see the ball getting out to the tight ends. We want to show Clemson, and we're not looking ahead. Okay, we're accused of looking ahead. But you've got to show the king of the hill what else you have in the arsenal. So if we could get some balls out there to our tight ends, that would be good. Running down the middle of the field a little bit. So then you have the middle, you have the length, you have the sides. It puts a lot of pressure on the defense. So it's going to be interesting giving weather impact whether we can get the ball out to enough people to do that. And a good coaching staff and Norvell and company they're going to try to do that a little bit to make Clemson have to think through a lot of scenarios.
I think a lot of people, I just want to see Johnny catch 2 or 3 balls make one big play down the field with Johnny and then get him out. I want to see that connection with Johnny and Travis because it was off. Both players were off last week. Jordan Travis did not play, in my mind, a great game last week. He was underthrowing those balls, and Johnny was dropping everything that was thrown to him. So it was a mixture of both guys. I want to see those two just in the first quarter, a real connection, a couple of deep balls, Johnny confidence back going into the big game. And then hopefully you can lean on the running game and they do their job and you can get out healthy. That's all I want to see. Defense makes a couple of big plays, maybe get a pick here and there, get that confidence up, get Jared Verse a sack, get his motor back going. And I know it hasn't been a big sack year already, for Jared Verse or much of the line. It's been a team effort. The line's done its job. It has, like I said, sacks don't tell the full story of what this defensive line has done so far. But hopefully, it can be a game where a couple of those guys can get a sack or 2. I would love to see that. But I really want to see Jordan and Johnny connect on 2 or 3 big plays, and then that I'll be happy with that.
The focus of this team now, to be honest, I'm being honest, this program is about raw and unfiltered opinions, and that's what it is. It's our opinions. It's my opinion. Doesn't mean it's KB's opinion. Jordan Travis's odds of winning a Heisman Trophy now are slim and none. Okay? Slim and none. Unless
I don't think
he takes this team undefeated into the playoffs and wins the national championship, and then those odds change greatly. Now, the other thing that is important here is Jordan Travis, Trey Benson, Coleman, Johnny Wilson, the rest of this team, Jared Verse, are not focused on individual awards. They're focused on winning each and every football game, including this game, including the Clemson game, including the game after that. At number 3 in the standings now, at number 3, this is not the playoff committee ranking. We have to understand that now. The playoff committee has not ranked these teams yet for the playoffs.
that's the way off.
Now, Florida State and the players I named, they control their own destiny. If they continue to focus one game at a time and win each football game, I don't care if it's by some scoring does count, no doubt. They are a 26-point favorite. So, to cover the spread is somewhat important against less able football teams like Boston College. However, if weather is there, that kind of gets erased a little bit. Winning is the most important thing on Saturday. This team controls their own destiny, so there will be no excuses, no explanation. If they keep winning, they stay up there in those top 5 slots. They're at number 3. Great place to be hanging your hat.
Yeah, I don't care about the Heisman stuff. It doesn't matter to me.
And they don't either.
Yeah, if this team gets to an ACC championship, his name will be in the running because that means he's performed. This team will not get to an ACC championship if Jordan Travis hasn't done his job. And if he's done his job to get them to the ACC championship, then his name will be in the running, whether it's the 1st or 10th in the running for the Heisman. His name will be in the running, so it'll take care of itself. They just need to win ball games. And the way they win ball games is through Jordan Travis. And last week, it started a little bit slow, but if he does his job, it'll all take care of itself in the background. He doesn't have to worry about that. He just needs to focus on running the offense. And with that, and we kind of talked about this earlier in the week on Sunday, last Sunday, was that I'm a little, maybe Southern Miss has great defensive backs, but guys don't seem to be getting open early. And what, like you talked about, the tight ends, I want to see the quick throws. I want to see 3-step drops, deliver the ball. It seemed like on some of those plays where he had to scramble around and make the miracle throw like he always does. Why is it so hard with all the weapons to get first downs, to get 6, 7, 8 yards on a quick slant? We have all these weapons, yet it seems so hard in the first half to throw the damn ball. Is nobody really able to get open? Is the play calling? I know some play calling last week seemed a little weird, especially in the first half, but guys just got to get open. I don't know. They just got to get open. There's no excuse for it. And some of that, I think sometimes the pass block is broken down a little bit early, but it's got to be 1, 2, 3 deliver. And that's what I want to see. I want to see a quick execution offense, throw in some of those deep plays to Keon Coleman, as the chat said, and I want it clean. I just want a clean run offense because that is what you're going to have to do next week against Clemson.
I think to your point there is I don't think that Jordan Travis in the first couple of games has looked comfortable, in the pocket. I went back and I looked at some of the game last week against Southern Mississippi, and what I saw was his feet were not getting set up. He was dancing almost like the first year he came into our program. He was unsettled there. I think this offensive line was being harassed and giving up some space early in that game. And I think it didn't rattle him, but it put him out of his rhythm, because when you're on the run or unsettled, it's much harder to find that target. But I agree with you. I don't get it. All preseason, we talked about all the weapons and what they have. We haven't seen that much out of the tight ends. Johnny Wilson's been dropping passes. Keon Coleman's been the star so far, and everybody else has 1 or 2 catches. There's something not quite fluent there. All Jordan has to do is deliver the football to these weapons that he has. But that offensive line must give him that time, must give him those 4 seconds.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's no excuse for that. Sorry, go on.
I don't know if viewers out there agree or don't. To our viewers out there, what do you think about this offensive line? How would you rate their performance? Obviously, we don't get to see what the grades are or what they've been rated inside the program. Not talking about outside the program. We're talking about inside the program. I just don't think he's settled in that pocket.
I mean, he may have some PTSD from the LSU game because, I mean, there were some moments in that game, you look at plays like this where...
Yeah, he's constantly on the move.
Just gets...
No, I mean, we can't have this. You sense that coming. And once a quarterback is in that situation 2 or 3 times, it's in his head. I got to move around. That's not drop back passing. That's on the run passing. Okay? That's just one play. But it's an example because I feel this offensive line is average plus. And I challenge that offensive line to allow him to stand in there and go through a progression. Because you can have all the weapons in the world, KB, and if you can't stand there and go through a progression, you're only looking at 1 or 2 weapons.
Well, I think he goes through his progressions, but I think like you said, and I watched this guy, the QB school on YouTube because he knows a lot more, 100% more than I do. And I watched this video against the LSU game. And one thing he noticed, and he talks about with Jordan Travis, is that he does have kind of happy feet. He bounces on his feet a lot. And you can notice,
he's not set.
He doesn't set his feet, and that affects how he places the ball down the field. It affects his velocity. It affects how that's why I think last week he was struggling with locating his deep balls because he's constantly bouncing on his feet. He's not setting his feet and going into it. And it's that happy feet kind of that.
It's a good point. It's a good point. It's a good point.
I would encourage you guys to check out the video of the QB school and see if you agree or not. And I think the guy's a little bit harsh on.
Well, we could say.
I don't think he covered every throw Jordan Travis made. That was great. But some of these things, like he talked about, consistency in these passes, he is constantly bouncing on his feet. And I do think that affects him, especially on the deeper throws.
The criticism of what somebody would say about what you just said was that, you pick out, you're cherry picking. You're picking a couple of plays, or the guy that you listen to, he's picking a couple of plays. But my overall feeling of watching the games is pretty much what you've said, okay? We can't sit here and show 15, 20 plays. No, we won't have any viewers at all, okay? No. The few we have. But what I'm saying is, I don't feel comfortable for Jordan. I just don't.
And I think the point is that what this guy who doesn't watch Florida State football every week is that's part of Jordan. One of his big abilities is his playmaking ability with his feet. So if he's dropping back 3 steps and planting his feet, then he isn't able to maneuver. He isn't able to run from the pocket and make that big play. And that's what I think some people are saying in the chat now. Is that, Travis really is elusive and he wasn't moving forward. He's in danger. He's not so fundamentally sound, but it makes Travis so dangerous. And that's right, B-Rob. That's part of his game is, like you said, his ability to make plays with his legs and get out of trouble quickly. So, it helps and hurts him. I think it does. I think it hurts a little bit of his passing ability, which he's improved so much in 2 years. It's unbelievable. But yeah, he's the guy's made so it's these little things. Like I said, I think he's going to continue to get better, but I think it's just some of those little things that that affects him. He thought it was an automatic safety. Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff, and it's little things like that. I'm nitpicking. Florida State, to someone's point, someone said in the chat, you said in the chat, B. Riley, we've outscored opponents 11-37. We're nitpick. I say this to myself. I'm like, I'm getting mad about these things because I can't turn off the way I've been analyzing Florida State from the beginning of time, whether they were shitty or good, I'm always going to look at them through the same lens. I always want them to be the greatest and the elite team. So I don't care if they're 11-1 or 1-11. I'm going to treat them through the same lens. And that may not, no, let me finish. And that might not be fair. I always want them to be great, the best version of this team that they can be. And I'm not saying that to be a hater. I just want them to be always look the best and showcase themselves to be the best. So I'm just saying what I observe. And it's not to say, it's, they're kids playing football. That, that's all. And I understand that. But it's just, I'm always going to say what I think and hope we get better than next week. That's all.
I agree with your statement there for the most part. It's easy for us to find good things about this football team. That's easy, okay? That's really easy to find. And if this turns you off as a viewer because we're not always the hug and kisses guy, there are channels out there that do that all the time. Go listen to them. If that's what you need, and I'm not talking to B. Riley, I'm talking in general. It's easy to find great things about this football team. But on elite teams, on national championship teams, if you don't think Mike Norvell leaves a game with notes like Bobby Bowden used to write down and all those guys would write down, going home thinking, I've got some things to clean up on this football team. That's what we're talking about. What you see in those interviews with Mike Norvell, well, we got to clean this up, we got to clean that. That's what we're talking about. We're not just going to focus on the good things. We're going to focus on the cleanup things. And I am convinced that one of the challenges, and it's kind of being swept under the carpet a little bit, is that offensive line is not as good as we hoped it would be. And let me say this. Tell me a guy in that offensive line room that is going to play on Sunday. Right now. No, I'm just saying. Do we have an elite offensive lineman? Okay, now last week we were missing a couple of guys, and we may be missing a couple of guys this coming weekend. Maurice Smith, my understanding is from the reporting and everything I've looked at, Maurice Smith, starting center, he may be out. Darius Washington may be in there, and that's a good thing for Darius. Darius shows he can play every position up and down. The question is, you can play all those positions, but how effective are you in those positions? And I think Darius is working hard and deserves a lot of credit. Maurice Smith's probably is not going to play. Robert Scott might be a game time decision. He could be out as well now. So, yes, other guys going to have to step up. But I don't know one guy on that offensive line right now next year could go to the NFL and play. I don't know one. That's no criticism. I'm just saying it is evidence of my evaluation, and I leave that open to viewers to contest that evaluation. All right?
Yeah. William, and I think you guys, are a little bit right in terms of, I'm not expecting,
always chase perfection only that you won't never achieve. I believe that's you know what? I agree with William. And let me add this, KB, and then I'm going to, because I agree with that statement. If anybody hasn't studied Vince Lombardi, I've got his book down here that I got many, many years ago that was written by Jerry Kramer. You probably don't even know who that is. Most viewers out there, Jerry Kramer. No. Jerry Kramer was an all-pro guard on the first two Green Bay teams that won the first two Super Bowls. Okay? He wrote a book about his experiences under Vince Lombardi. Go read that. And let me add this too. Any coach who is satisfied with mediocrity or doesn't look to clean up a lot of things will never succeed. When I started many years ago playing tackle padded team football,
leather helmets.
I had a coach. Yeah, no, not leather helmets. We actually had face masks. The very first coach team I was on, it was the Police Athletic League. I had a detective, okay? He was a captain in the detective squad. You know what he said? We lost 2 games in 3 years. We were up 28-0 at halftime, and he was yelling and screaming at us. Now, let me tell you this. You'll never hear this from anybody. He demanded, if we had a game at 7 o'clock at night, we had to show up at noontime. We all got together. We all went to a movie together. Unheard of in Little League. And then we ate a team meal together at a restaurant, same restaurant every week. And then we got ready to play the game. All right? But he demanded perfection. He was my Vince Lombardi at the time.
I like it. I like it.
So that's where I'm
story?
coming from.
Wrapping up. I like it. I like it. We need to put the complete game together. I think we will this week. Hard to argue 6 points. Like you said, it is hard to argue 6 points. It's like, but getting there was rough. But like you said, it's hard to argue that. The offensive line's a little rough, but we can get better over the season. And that's what I was going to say to Bruce before he told us about his childhood, is that I think the offense, like, you don't need to have 5 studs going to the NFL to have a great offensive line. And I do think
I didn't say that.
Guys are hurt. But the difference between this team and past teams is that if we had 2 guys hurt on the offensive line 2 years ago, we'd be a 1-10 team, 1-11 team. Thankfully, this year we have bodies that we can rotate that it doesn't totally sink the offensive line. It's still a team that can put up 6-6 on a team it should put up 6-6 on. So that is the good thing. And I think they will get better as they find the right lineups, the guys get healthy, and they find the right fit for the right packages. So I definitely agree with you on that. Darius Washington's versatility gets him into the league. Bless is a backup on Sundays. Byers hasn't developed, but he's exactly what the teams are looking for. So potentially three.
I agree. Hold it. Go back to B. Riley there for a minute. I agree with B. Riley about Darius Washington. The versatility piece, which Darius Washington has to understand, it's very important. Coach Atkins understands, and he's telling him that, especially going into center a few games, playing on the guard, playing on the tackle, is going to help his stock rise.
Yeah, absolutely. Great points. And agreed, O-line will improve there. I definitely agree there. Sorry, I'm falling behind, guys. That might be the quote I was shooting for the Cliff Notes. Oh, we got our first super chat from Jody.
Hey! Whoa! Our very first super chat. Woo! Look at, woo! We got the crystal ball going. Woo! Look at this. Woo!
Very much appreciate that, Jody Potter. The old man stories are what get the super chat, so we may have to have a old man stream only to get us.
Oh, man.
Really appreciate that. Hope wherever you are, you're doing well, and go Noles. We appreciate that. First
ever super chat, Jody Potter. Hats off to you. $1.99. Bam! I can get me Dunkin' Donuts coffee, or maybe we'll get you a new mic, KB. How about that?
And all this time, I thought the old man was losing subscribers, but here we go. Here we are.
Hey, thank you, Jody, very much. That's great. We appreciate that very much.
That was amazing. Let's see. Let me go back and see some of these that I skipped over.
While you're looking for one, let me talk about this for a minute, about the rush game. Yeah, we're averaging 220 yards, 0.5 yards a game. We're ranked 22nd in the nation right now, as compared to Boston College at 174, and they're 54th. That right there is another piece of the analysis that this game shouldn't even be close. Okay, I think we should be able to push those rush yardage over 300 yards on this game. This is a game for padding stats again, but doing it in the right way. That's for sure.
I was going to pull up some of the comments, but they were just making fun of you and your old man stories. So, but
what? I want to see who those people are.
I'll pull a few of them up. B-Riley says, did you have to walk through the snow uphill both ways?
No, but I did. I did have to walk to school because I was outside the bus zone. I had to walk to school. And here's a story. In 1970,
oh God, please, no. Please,
when I was in high school, public high school, you know what? I forgot to wear a belt to school, and they sent me home. They didn't call my parents. I got the belt on and walked back. I walked back all the way. So, boy, have things changed in public schools.
I'm gonna try it. It was either, but what did William Turnbull walk down the hill both ways and kill Source? That's so good. Noles99, do you see FSU going for it on 4th and 10 and gets anyone else for the rest of the schedule other than playing from behind? Yeah, Knowles, I think, once again, bizarre, but once again, good practice, I guess, for that scenario. And once again, they converted 4 or 5 on 4th down, 3 or 4 on 4th down, and worked out. So good practice, but hopefully, I hope to not be in many of those scenarios, right? I hope to not having to do onside kicks before halftime. Hopefully, we don't have to do those things, but great practice because both times, 98% of the time, they work against USM. So
leave that comment up for a minute. Leave that comment up from Knowles99. You got to kind of wonder. Now, Mike Norvell had an opportunity on some of those 4th down plays to bring in his field goal kicker and put him in under a little bit of pressure on a longer kick. Okay? On a longer kick.
I mean, that would be a really long kick.
Well, no, a couple of them. I think it would have been like 41, would have been like a 47-yarder. So is he telling the country I don't have confidence outside of 45 yards or whatever?
I think he's saying I have confidence in my loaded offense that if I need 7 yards or 6 yards within the 40-yard line, and it's kind of that no man's zone, or it's go for 7 on 4th or kick a 55-yarder, I'm going to put Keon Coleman and Johnny Wilson on the field and say, let's go for it.
Now, I would expect if weather conditions are what we expect it to be, that there'll be less field goal kicking in this game and more go for it. Now, on 3rd down conversions, Florida State's ranked 35th in the country nationally, 13 of 26. So they've had to go for a lot of 3rd down conversions, okay? And they're only at 500% on that, all right? Boston College is worse. They're 13 of 30 for 43%. So they've struggled to stay on the offensive side.
The only redeeming part of that team so far for BC, and once again, they haven't played a Power 5 team yet, is their pass defense has been pretty good. And so, once again, that could change. We may not be able to pass on them if it's raining. We may not want to pass. And I don't think, so we'll have to see what those defensive backs are like. And if we can get the passing game going, which I hope we will. But their passing defense has been okay so far. It's just their pass defense has been, or their run defense has been god awful.
Their pass defense is ranked 54th in the country right now.
Giving up 150 yards a game.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Trash Talk TV says Armella could be the highest drafted O-line. I believe in that kid. Well, the old man doesn't. So
no, I do, but he hasn't gotten on the field that
he's a
much.
Sophomore.
I get it. But I get it. I like all the kids. I like all the kids in there. But he wasn't the guy that came right out of high school and jumped right on the line, obviously. Okay, but next year should be his year. Next year should be. And listen to me. All the guys, Norvell played over 100 guys, I think, on last week. 100 guys. I think that was the quote.
Like the entire 20.
He's played like 100 guys, whatever. This is great development for our future players. Here's a statement. I didn't come up with this. It's been said before. You're not just playing for this year. You're playing for next season as well, 2024, because you're not only playing the guys you want to see if they can play, you're also playing with the portal. So,
agreed. B. Riley says, new rule, Super Chat comes in and old man's volume gets turned down a couple of notches.
All right, B. Riley, you put that in and I'll turn it down. I'll go to the knob. Hats off to Jody Potter.
Yes, thank you, Jody Potter.
She's number one. That's our number one super chat. Way to go.
That's great. Offensive line is key to offensive success. I totally agree with you, Jam. We'll go as far as they go, along with Jordan Travis. In all seriousness, I haven't seen us with this dominant of a run game in years. William,
I agree. I haven't seen us with this dominant of a run game in years.
I'm still out on it. LSU was always tough. We didn't run really well against LSU.
But Dalvin Cook was around. looked pretty good to me.
We still don't have a Dalvin Cook type running back. I love Trey Benson. I love Toafili. Hill Hill's got something special to him. I like him a lot. So we'll see how it pans out. So what I was going for, that's not what I was going for. I feel like all the teams in the 80s and 90s and the football gods are looking upon us. We'll see. We one step at a time. Clemson's going to be the ultimate test.
I'll say it again. Florida State holds the whole destiny. They control it. They just have to keep winning. If they keep winning, it's going to be real hard for the committee when they start getting involved to take them out. Okay.
Like you said, if Florida State wins out, they're going to the playoffs. That's it. If they win out, they control their destiny. If they win out, they will go to the playoffs, or they will make the committee look like jokes. But they control it. They have to beat Clemson. They have to.
And
beat
there's
Miami.
no
they
reason.
Have to beat Duke.
There's no reason. There's no reason, given everything we've talked about. There's no reason they can't win out. This schedule is winnable, but there cannot be a letdown in focus, or it cannot be a letdown in the coaches thinking, oh, we got all these superstars. You got to keep grinding.
Absolutely. And Trash Talk agrees with your earlier point. I agree. Tess Fitzgerald, it may have to bite us, but I think that if you believe you have a top 5 offense in the country, you leave your offense on the field. But I can see both sides of that.
I tell you, a game is going to come down to a kick. There's going to be a game that comes down to a kick, either in regular time or overtime, and it's going to put everything on the line. So anytime you can test him, that's what you want to take the opportunity.
Ryan's 2 for 2 so far, so he's done his job so far.
No, he's done fine. The kicking game, the special teams have been wonderful.
Yeah.
They've been 2 thumbs up.
So going back to the point about the onside kick, B. Riley's tinfoil theory, Norvell and Papachuas saw the Southern Miss bailed on kickoff and saw the opportunity to show tougher opponents that we'll do it and leave early to gain advantage. If they leave early. Yeah,
I agree.
Show it on tape. And make them plan for it. So yeah,
I agree. I
like that.
I agree.
I like that. I think Fitzgerald can be accurate at times, but that's proven that he doesn't have a powerful leg. Yeah, I think that's a better point, that he can be accurate, but not from distance, or not consistently accurate from distance. So,
what do you think his distance is, KB?
I would say 45 and under.
45 and under.
If that.
That's probably fair.
And that's why I said, if you're in that no man's zone of like 40 to 55, you leave Keon Coleman on the field. Like,
and you cannot tell me, okay, come on, you cannot tell me that Coach Norvell doesn't think the same way. That if I have to put him out there 40 to 45 yards out, I have 100% confidence. He will say that to the press. He'll say that, but in his mind, he is not fully cemented. That's how coaches think. He's not Roberto Aguayo, No. At this point, he still has to prove himself under a stressful situation.
And situations matter. Like if it's 21-21 and Keon Coleman has 200 yards, you're probably keeping your offense maybe on the field. Like it's all, what's the flow of the game, what's the score, all those things matter. Noles 99, he loses accuracy when he tries to strength. So said basically what I said. So yeah. To me, Fitzgerald can be very inconsistent at times, but can improve. Yeah, this year's 2 for 2. Like I said, we got to beat Duke, Clemson, Florida, and those damn hard. Yeah, like I said, this season only gets harder from here. This is where after tomorrow or after Saturday, it gets you get your first test, you get Clemson, and then a couple of weeks later, you get I think your next big test is Duke. So it's like you said, you get Clemson, then you get Duke, then you get Miami. Then you get Florida. So you got 4 hurdles kind of nicely spaced out, but you got to take care of all the dirty work in between, right? You got those milestone games, but you got to take care of the little stuff in between. You can't forget about it. You got to go through those valleys to get to the hills. You got to go. Got to take care of all the other stuff in between, and can't take any.
Because I'll tell you what's going to happen. It's really funny to watch fans and the FSU media as well, in how all the hugs and kisses take place while everything's good. But when things go bad, then the bad language comes out, and everything that we're talking about that needs to be cleaned up, all of a sudden they start talking about that stuff that needs to be cleaned up. Okay? They start losing a little bit of the hugs and kisses, and the questions start coming, which I listened to all the press interviews and all of this stuff, and the questions that are asked are bizarre at times. They're all what I call leading questions, and they don't get any real answers. But that's some of the problem. So we're gonna point out some things that we think are concerns that need to be cleaned up now. That's what we do. Some people like it, some people don't. That's okay. There's freedom of choice.
Didn't Ryan Owens pull his hamstring last year when he kicked a 45-yard? I know he was short and he was limping. Noles,
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. If you have game tape, forward that over to us and we'll show it.
Yeah, I don't know that.
When FSU won the national championship, they had a great kicker. Very true. Special teams matter. Special teams matter. And they also had, Kermit, who was running back kicks, right? So we had a great kicker, and his picture is right behind me up there on the wall. Do you see the big number 1 up there? That's when we beat Nebraska, and that is Danny Cannell hoisting up the kicker. And who was that kicker? Does anybody know? That was Scott Bentley from Colorado. He hailed from, I think, Denver, Colorado. Okay, he never went on, did anything in the pros, but he didn't have to. He kicked that ball through. Pressure was on. There were a few seconds left in this ball game, and then Nebraska got the ball back, and they took it almost all the way down. And I thought they were going to score. It was an unbelievable game. 93? 94? Okay? Just unbelievable. Scott Bentley was that kicker. We've had some great kickers. And on special teams, you talk about kickers, but also I would love, and I think this Saturday could be, given conditions, the game where we see a kickoff or punt return go for a touchdown. We saw it last year with Trey Benson do it against Boston College. That was his big game where he had the kick return for a touchdown. I would love. I could see Keon Coleman. He is starting to get close. He looks good in that role as a punt returner. But I could see a punt or kick return. I don't like that.
I do not like having my number 1 wide receiver back there having to return kicks.
That's how Norvell plays. He puts playmakers on special teams.
That's okay. I'm just saying I don't like it and I wouldn't do it.
Yeah,
okay? Because you know how those guys get tackled. Okay? They get tackled quick and they get tackled low, right? And a lot of times they're spun around. And there goes an injury. And I'm not putting that guy out there. There's other guys I could put out there.
Bentley, wide right. They're talking about the kickers. They're still talking about kicking.
No. It wasn't so much Bentley wide right. No. I don't think so. I don't think so, my friend. Hang on there, my friend.
By the time gets to November, that fan base will be 2 more rows to make a difference.
You know what? Yeah, but you know what? And we're not here to talk about Florida. This is not. But when you're talking Miami and you're talking Florida, there's such an emotional games. Okay, that emotion, and they have good athletes. Let's be candid about it. Despite all the fans going back and forth and all that crap, I don't really get into. Those teams can bite you. They can bite you.
I mean, look at last year. They were a 6-win team.
Anthony Richards.
Right. They took us to the brink. I mean, they have a worse quarterback this year, but they took us to the brink last year. Right. It was close. They shouldn't have been that close, but it was. These teams recruit well. They may not have the greatest coaches. You can judge that for yourself, but they have the athletes to do greatness if they somehow find it. So. Nebraska missed the chip shot at field goal to beat FSU in the national championship in '93, and he was just pointing it out for your poster.
That's all right. Doesn't matter what they missed; they lost. Okay.
How do you feel about muff punch and?
And I watched it. How
do you feel about muff punts and short fields for the opposition? He's responding to you when you say you don't want Keon Coleman out there.
Well, it's hard for me to believe that no one else.
You've seen it though.
No one else Then we need to get our front office people scanning the nation, looking for a guy that can field punts.
We did. We got Michael Pittman. He did nothing else essentially but catch kicks, and he did it well.
Who's that guy we brought in from the Ivy League, Ivy Coast, and he never put him out there.
Yeah, you're talking about some guy from Brown University.
Yeah, he was the punt guy. He didn't even play.
I agree. I
don't like muff punts and I don't like short fields, but I don't like getting my number one receiver, the superstar of this team right now. He's the superstar of this team, okay? And I know for his resume, it looks good. He can catch passes, he can hurdle guys, and he can catch punts. Okay, I'm good with that. But it's dangerous.
Bentley also struggled early in his career, got benched, I believe, and he came back strong. Okay.
I don't know about that. I don't remember that.
See, if the old man doesn't know something, he just says, I don't know.
No, I don't. One of the people are looking stuff up on me here. Yeah, but all I remember is the happy moment when Danny Cannell, who was the backup quarterback, lifted him up in the air. I have that whole newspaper on my back wall back there. It's great.
He's kind of a hoarder, guys. He's got newspapers everywhere.
I got everything. I'll bring more of that to the program.
All the wide rights and wide lefts. Losing off a kick at the end of the game is the worst way to lose. I personally, I would rather be blown out by 40 than lose on a kick.
You guys don't understand. Most of our viewers are not old enough to understand how many of those I saw.
Most of us didn't see the
breakdowns we built. You're a unique God.
In this scenario.
You don't know the pain that I had to go through along with Bobby Bowden and Andrews and the rest of them. It was painful.
Did you guys see the Utah? Yeah, P. Riley, we saw Utah. Oh,
I can't. Where are my paper mache heads to put on?
Bruce didn't see it. He didn't see it.
What?
I hope the U is good. I love beating the U when they're good. I think that Miami game is going to be a lot tougher this year. TBD's healthy. They got more weapons in the port. We talked about this a little bit on Sunday. They're a lot better than last year, I think. And I know Texas A&M isn't a great team. I think Jimbo's about. Well, I don't know if they can. Well, they could probably afford to fire him, but Jimbo does what he does. I think Miami's going to be a lot tougher this year.
And I will be at the game. KB, you're coming for the game? Maybe.
Miami.
And I tell you this right now. I am not paying $400 to stay in the Motel 6 in Tallahassee. I will be camping in my SUV.
And that's why I'm not going to the game, because I'm not going to camp with the old man in an SUV. Can you imagine camping with the old man?
I have a little gas now and then. Especially if we go to a barbecue place with the beans.
When he means camping, he means just putting down the seats in his.
No, I'm gonna have a blow up
in his hot car.
No,
in Tallahassee.
No, I already got some screening from Temu, and it's really kind of cool. It fits.
Even weirder. He's going to be the creeper SUV in the middle of Talladega campus.
On Tennessee Street.
How creepy is that? Oh, my God. Oh, my Lord. Well, all right, give me your final score prediction before we go even deeper into the camping fan, or whatever you want to call it. What is your final score prediction for Saturday?
I got Florida State 42-10.
42-10?
42-10.
Yeah, I'll take 13 to the spread's 26.
26. Doesn't mean it's gonna be 26. It could be 6. Who knows?
13 to 45, something like that. I'll take the spread. I say
I'll take the spread.
They'll get a touchdown at some point and get some garbage time points.
And by the way, I was just in Las Vegas, okay, as some of you know if you watched our other show. And I picked up... No. I actually took an airplane. And I picked up Doc's final edition. This will be a collector's. Final edition of Doc's betting strategy and all the stuff you can do. You know what? I looked through this. I don't even understand half of it. It's crazy. Doc Sports.
That's why you bought the book. That's why you bought the book.
Well, I use it for bathroom reading.
Are you bringing the disco lights in your creepy SUV?
I might be. You don't know. Okay, let's move on to another important game. We have some other games on the schedule, and here it is.
No, okay, we're not talking about what this was.
Wait, I am an alumni there too.
Nobody cares, though.
They
Literally,
do care.
Nobody cares.
That's
nobody
not.
Cares.
Look,
Nobody
okay.
Cares.
Who are you picking? They play Colorado State
care.
at home. It's going to be at 10
They're
p.m.
playing an awful team.
Oh, I know. Every time they beat somebody, just like Coach Prime said, every time we beat somebody, they're no good. Who the hell do you want them to beat then? Georgia?
USC.
Okay,
Oregon.
it's coming
That's who
up.
I want them to beat.
Okay, against Oregon, they're down 14 points. We'll see how it works out. Who are you picking? Colorado's
No one.
up.
I don't
Colorado
care.
is
No one.
favored by
I don't
23 points. Colorado
Exactly.
State. Who are
I
you
don't
taking?
care. I don't
I'm
care.
taking the Colorado Buffaloes, probably to win by 30.
I don't care. Good.
Okay, I'm just letting people know. Relax.
It's
All right,
not-
next game.
He's thrown off campus. Probably Williams. Probably.
The next big in-state game, Miami takes on Bethune-Cookman. Okay, Miami's favored by 41. Another tough one on their schedule, and they'll still be undefeated as they blow up Bethune-Cookman, whose program basically blew up. Who were they hiring as coach? Who was that guy? And he was fired in 3 days. He was a former
Ed
Ed Reed.
No, I think he quit because they.
No. He said some bad stuff about
He
the
said
administration.
their facilities.
They were terrible. He was out there cutting the grass, doing what he could, and they fired him. They fired him. I'm telling you.
Well, either way.
Are you taking Bethune or are you taking Miami?
No, I'm going for the deep upset of Bethune-Cookman over Miami.
Wouldn't that be something? How many people will be at that game for Miami?
10 to 10 to 1,000, I would say.
If you
they
go on,
they even show up for Texas A&M. They couldn't even fill that place for Texas A&M.
I know. I looked at it. It was horrible. The screen. They didn't even want to show it. If they didn't show up for Texas A&M at TickPicks, you could probably get a ticket for free. It probably says free, but there won't be anybody there. Oh, there it was, $2. It said as low as $2.
Hey,
$2.
if y'all are looking to scout the Miami program, you can go for as low as $2. Cheapest thing to do in Miami this weekend. The cheapest thing to do in Miami.
Let's move to the next game. This is going to be a good one. Florida, Tennessee. Florida, maybe I got this. Florida is you could take Florida with 6.5 points. They got Tennessee winning this game. What do you think?
This is a tough one. I think Florida's in trouble.
What does that say? Put that back up. I didn't take Evelyn Wood's speed reading course, okay?
Oh man, just because you settled Colorado doesn't make you an alum.
These guys are riding.
That's a good one.
These guys are riding.
I like
tonight.
that. Tennessee. I honestly think it'll be closer. No, actually, why am I saying this?
Where is this game at?
Tennessee's going to crush them. Tennessee by 14. It's in.
Where's this game?
It's in the swamp. It's in the swamp.
Oh, it's in the swamp.
Tennessee by 14. Tennessee by 14.
This is a big game for the Gators and their coach.
Joe Milton's going to torch them deep.
If Florida were to get blown up in this game at home in the swamp, it's not going to be good for the coaching staff.
I'm taking. I won't say as much, but I'm taking Florida. Or I'm taking Tennessee. What am I talking about? I'm taking Tennessee by 14.
Okay, the last game I have on my list is a big one. Clemson getting ready for the Noles. They'll take on Florida Atlantic, and they're a 24.5-point fave.
Why do you pick the worst game? Well,
we're playing these guys. This is their tune-up game.
Well, it is FAU without Willie Taggart as the head coach. So
yeah,
if he was still there, it could be an upset. But
upset stomach.
Sunshine Billy will be lucky to get another year. Well, that's probably true.
That's true.
Isn't that funny that? Oh no, you can see a Cubs game's only $27. Still more than $2 to see this game.
That $2 is the funniest thing. I've never seen a price that low.
That's so sad. I'm going to take Clemson by. I don't even know what's the spread. What's the spread?
It's 26, 24 and a half.
I'll take it by 30. They haven't looked great, but I'll take them by 26.
Yeah, wow. That's gonna. Yeah, I mean, this. I'll tell you, these are the types of games people really don't want to see anymore, and we have them. Florida State has them.
But this weekend sucks for games. This weekend's awful for games. Yeah. I mean, there's no really good games this weekend. I mean,
I think there's a couple.
This is the best game of the weekend. This is the best game of the weekend.
Look, this game right here.
No one wants to watch that. South Carolina, Georgia is probably the best game between quarterbacks.
No, South Florida's going to get crushed.
No, South Carolina.
Oh,
Georgia.
Okay.
Dan, the way 3 Celtics was sad when you put it up on the screen, the whole side night. I'm telling you.
What?
It is a sad weekend of games, man. This may be the weekend where you actually go out and do something.
It's not good,
This is a really awful. I mean, Tennessee, Florida. Like
that's
you said,
it.
You have to watch.
Well, Georgia Tech. Pull up Georgia Tech. That's an SEC battle there. ACC, SEC. I mean, the ACC could make a run. Well, okay, we're going to find out.
Awful.
We'll find out.
So if you really want to watch Colorado play, you have to wait till 10 p.m., which is fun to do.
Right.
Or you can watch nothing but before then. You can watch. I would circle this game: South Carolina, Georgia. Spencer Rattler versus the Georgia defense. That's it. That's the only game you need to watch. 3:30, Georgia, South Carolina.
Yeah.
Potential upset, maybe.
Look at the spread on that. 27 points.
I'll take the under. I'm taking the under there. Take the under. That's not betting advice. That's not betting advice.
No, we don't give betting advice. We're not betting analysts. We're not financial analysts. We're not any of that shit. Okay? If South Carolina gets beat again by 27 or more points, that's not going to be good for that coaching staff.
I'll take the under there. They only have I think they have a potential to. I mean, they lost it. They've had 2 tough games. I mean, UNC's not easy, even though they struggled at App State. And then Notre Dame game. I mean, that's tough. They have a great offense and a good defense. I think they're coming into this a little underrated. I would take the under.
I don't disagree with you on
it's not like Georgia. Who's Georgia played so far?
That's a lot of points.
Who's Georgia played so far? They've played. Exactly. They've played nobody. This is their first actual test.
Right.
This will be interesting. I'm telling you.
Hey, and let me say this. Any Georgia fans who may be listening, which are probably 0, my granddaughter goes to the University of Georgia. Okay? She is trying to get a ticket to that game to get into that game. She loves football.
This game?
Okay? Yeah, that's in Georgia.
Buy it right now. I can buy her a ticket right now. I won't buy her a ticket.
Good.
Somebody could buy her a ticket right now.
Someone could buy her a ticket. That's true.
Does anyone want to give us a $92 super chat?
Yeah. Someone out there should give us a $92 super chat, and I'll give it to my granddaughter. I told her this. Go to the tailgate, if nothing else. Put a sign on.
Yes,
I need a ticket. I've done that in my lifetime a few times to some of the biggest games ever. And in that time, you had the paper tickets, and I put $100 in my hand, and boom. You know what? A guy
got arrested once for doing that, but
no, I wasn't within 60 feet of the stadium. A guy came up to me. He was with his girlfriend and other people, and he just gave me a ticket. And I was on the 50-yard line, 25 yards up, to an interstate rivalry game. All right? And so if nothing else, you don't get a ticket. There's always people with extra tickets. Their buddies don't show up, whatever, and they can send it to you electronically. Bam, you're in the stadium. That's the advice I gave to my granddaughter. So
William, how lucky is she? Like you said, she's seen 2 national championships in her 2 years.
Amazing.
Most kids do not get that lucky, but Georgia students, they're spoiled like that.
No, but I have to
Spoiled
say
like that.
this. The students, did you see them lined up to
Yeah.
get tickets
Who
at
would be?
Colorado? No, wait a minute. Any stadium, the students now have to almost get in a lottery system to go to a game. She's allowed to go to like 4 games, I
Okay,
think she said,
but
but she
old
can't
man.
go to the other ones because she has to get
Old
into
man.
a lottery system or something.
Like that at
You know,
major programs. Michigan.
well, the major donors get the seats or whatever.
It's like
I
that at
get it.
Michigan. It's like that at big programs.
I get it. You know, but I don't like it.
Man, I was looking at West Virginia and Pittsburgh with beer goggles. Help me, where's my message?
Hey, in 1973, when I was at Florida State and we were 0-11, there was no problem getting a seat. And I always went early to every game. I was there for
No.
every pre-warm-up, too.
Is it too soon to see a Jimmy Buffett cover? No, William, it's never too late.
Cover.
That's what I would do on my Saturday. Go see that. Enjoy it. There's no good college football on. Spend your money
Let
there.
me tell you this.
Take
Let me
that
tell you
$2
this.
from the Miami game and put on the tickets for the Jimmy.
Let me
Buffett
tell you this. Listen.
Do that with your $2 from Miami.
In Las Vegas, I went to see the Michael Jackson live show. This is not the Circus of Olay acrobats and stuff. This was a Michael Jackson impersonator. It's at the Tropicana.
Not the real Michael Jackson.
Well, I told you he
First
lives. I think he was, I thought he was alive, to be honest. He was so good. If you're in Las Vegas, the show, you can get a great seat for like $50, maybe $60, which is cheap in Las Vegas. Go see MJ live at the Tropicana if you like Michael Jackson and all the hit songs. This guy was spot on.
All right. Well, you heard it first. Old Man Recommends. We'll do a segment of Old
And
Man
you know how you can save that $60 for that ticket? You go to Chick-fil-A before. It's right there on the strip. You get some nuggets, you get the dipping sauce, and then you save money. You go to the show.
Hey, guys, next time you go to Vegas, make sure you eat at Chick-fil-A because, you really want to experience the strip. Go get chicken strips.
No, I don't want to experience getting wallet
and get the
robbed.
chicken strips on the strip. Big tip, guys.
Hey, but this is sincere now. And the last thing I have to say, sincerely, in Vegas, there is a rooftop bar called the Brew Dog. And I sent that to you, KB. The Brew Dog. Go to the Brew Dog rooftop bar at night. You'll love it.
All right, y'all. I think that's going to do it. I can't. We've gone through the games. We've gone through the picks. We've gone through the $2 tickets available at Miami. So if you don't have something to do, you live in Florida, drive down to Miami,
this.
get a $2 football game, go for a drink afterwards, spend the night, do what you need to do, or enjoy your Saturday. Because like I said, there's one game on at 3:30. You have the whole morning. Well, you have Florida State noon, Georgia, South Carolina at 3:30. Then you have the entire evening to go see Jimmy Buffett cover bands. Have a fun.
Hey, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m., I'll be on a softball field. I'm back, baby. I'm back.
All right. Well, if you're in Florida as well, you can go see the old man play softball.
And we're 2-0, and I wasn't even there.
All right. Well, have a great one. We will see you on Saturday for the post-game reaction. Have a great rest of your week. See you soon. Be safe. And, go Noles as always.